Hey guys, it's Jackson here from Titanic Games, and today we're going to look at finishing up the rest of our equipment system and getting this kind of live preview guy here to update with our character. Alright, so right now, if we pick up an item, we can equip it, and it equips it to our guy here, but it doesn't update it here. So we'll look at updating it here as well. Okay, so one thing I wanted to point out, I have added these other kind of items here. The armor items specifically, and you can kind of equip all of these, right? And just basically, I went into the armor folder, and make sure, again that each, make sure that each of your armor items have their appropriate attach points set. Okay, and remember we set those on our character here in the skeleton. Okay, so right here, like these would be the slots. Okay, so enough of that. Let's go ahead and do what we need to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our interactables folder here, and we're going to create a new interface. So go to blueprints, blueprint interface, and call it BPI underscore recorder com. So this is just simply going to be used for passing information between the character and our character recorder. Okay, so we'll open this up, and we are going to call this first function here pass reference. So basically, on event begin play, we're going to pass a reference from our character recorder to our character so that we can kind of reference him later. Okay, so next, what we'll do here is in inputs, right? We'll add a new one that we'll just call, I don't know, recorder reference, or maybe just reference would be fine. Just reference, and then we'll change the Boolean type here to BP underscore character recorder. Okay. Next, we'll add another function that we'll call equip item, and we'll add an input here called item info. Oops, I didn't capitalize that. Item info. Okay, and then we'll change this to our f item info. Right, now we'll add one last one called unequip item. And this will again take in an input of f item info that we will call item info. Alright, fantastic. So we've got the interface made. Now we need to go into our character. Okay, open him up. And I'm just going to get rid of these functions really quick. And basically, at the end of each of these, at the end of use item and at the end of unused item, we are going to call those the equip and unequip item functions. Okay, but first we need to go to class settings and add that interface. So BPI recorder com. Okay, and now we will simply right click and we'll search for equip item. Okay, and we want to untick context sensitive because we need the message. So we'll look for equip item message. Hook this up. And we need a target, right? We need a target to send it to, which we'll do in a second. But we also need to plug in this item info here. Okay. Now the same down here, we're going to say unequip item, and we're going to do the unequip item message. Okay. And again, we need a target, but we'll plug in item info. Oops, for there. Okay, so now how are we going to get a target? Or basically, how are we going to pass this to our, our character? So what we need to do is go back out to the content browser, go to our scene captures, and find our BP, character recorder. We'll open them up, and we'll go to class settings, and we need to implement the interface again. So we'll add the recorder com, and basically, on event begin play, we will call that, or we'll send that message. Okay, so first we're going to cast to our, not our third person character, our ch underscore my character, right? And we will get player character. Okay, and then we will send that message. So we'll say pass reference, and we want to untick context sensitive again and find the message. All right, so we'll send it to our character. Now the reference though is going to be our self. So get a reference to self, and there we go. And then we're going to retick context sensitive again. Okay, so on event begin play, we send this reference, Okay, so now we need to receive that message on our character. So we'll go back to our character, and we'll go back up here towards event begin play, because this will be an event that happens right away. So just kind of trying to keep things in a little bit of logical order, I guess. All right, and we will say event pass reference. All right, so when we get this message, we are going to promote this to a variable called recorder reference. All right, so now we have a reference to that recorder, which is great because we need that to be able to send our equip item message and our unequip item message. So we'll take our recorder reference here, and we'll drag it out and attach it to the target, and we'll do the same thing for this target. All right, so compile and save, and now everything should be working, at least in terms of sending the message. Now what we need to do is add events for these equip and unequip item in our character recorder, and all we're going to do actually is just basically take our attach equipment function here and our unattach equipment function, and we're going to basically copy and paste those right into the character. But before we do that, we need some some kind of setup. So, or not setup, but we need to set up a few things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our character recorder, and we're going to add some variables. So we're going to add a head item. Okay, and this will be of type BP underscore base item. Oops, it stopped typing. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but it does. So base item reference, right? And then we'll duplicate that and create all the same items, and make sure the naming is all the same, because this will help with kind of copy and pasting. But we'll have it head item, torso item, arms. What do we call it? Let's make sure we get it right. Arms item, legs item, right? So we want to basically create variables that will match all 10 of these item variable names, so that when we copy and paste everything, we won't need to worry about hooking up anything new, right? Because if all the names are the same, it'll continue to work. Okay, so we have our arms item, duplicate again. We have our legs item, our feet item, and I'll let you do the last 5, but just make sure that you type them in exactly as these ones are. Okay, so see you in a sec. All right, we're back. So you should have added now all the primary right hand, left hand, secondary right hand, left hand, and amulet item, and they should all be named exactly like the ones here, so that when we copy all this code over, everything will work out nicely. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and do that. Okay, but first we'll create the functions. So we'll create a function here called attach item, create another function called unattach item, and we'll go into attach item first. We'll add an input that we'll call item info, change it to f item info. Okay, and then we'll do the same on the unattach. Okay, add an input again of f item info, and it'll be item info. Okay, so now back in the we'll do the attach item first. So we'll go to our character, and we'll take all of this code here, all these blueprints. Okay, Control C to copy it. Okay, and then we will go and paste it. So make sure you zoom out a little bit. Paste it. There we go. And we're just going to move all this over. Okay, hook this up like so. And now, provided that we named everything correctly, okay, all of these will now register as, they won't be errors. Okay, if you name something incorrectly, then it'll just kind of be grayed out, and then if you hit compile, it'll say there's an error. Oh yes, and then there is one thing that we need to change, which is this mesh. Okay, so we'll go ahead and delete the mesh for now, right? And we're simply going to replace the mesh here with our own skeletal mesh. Okay, so not a huge deal. Just want to make sure that we fix it up. Okay, so we can start from the bottom, I guess, and we'll just take our skeletal mesh, drag it, and drop it onto the parent. Okay, so we'll do that. I'm debating internally whether or not I should just pause for a sec, but I guess I'm already doing it, so I might as well. So yeah, just hook up the skeleton mesh to each one of these, and you should be good to go. Okay, I think we have 2 more. Okay, last one. Perfect. Alright, so now everything should work just fine if you hit compile, right, and save. Now there were no errors, so that's great. Next, let's do the unattach item. Okay, so we'll go to our character, we'll go find the unattach equipment. Alright, so we'll copy all this, Control C, go back to our character here, and I realize the functions aren't named the same. They're it's not attach equipment or unattach equipment, so you can change those names if you want, but it works regardless. So Control V now to paste it, and same thing, hook these up, and now everything should be working here if you compile and save. Fantastic. So now we'll go to the event graph inside of a character recorder still, and we'll add events for receiving those equip item and unequip item messages. So we'll say event equip item, and then we'll say event unequip item. So basically whenever these are called, then we'll say attach item for the equip item one, okay, and plug in the item info, and then we'll say unattach item for the unequip item event. Okay, so now we can compile and save, and hopefully everything should be working. Let's just make sure that this is all plugged in. So we are sending this message to our recorder reference, right, which gets set on event begin play, or at least from this guy, right? We pass the reference through to our character where it sets the recorder reference, and then whenever we add it, use an item, it'll get attached to our recorder reference, or it'll be unequipped if we unuse it. Alright, so let's go ahead and try it out really quick. If we hit play, I'll go pick up our sword, I'll hit E to show the equipment, and hit I to show the inventory. Right, so now, provided we did everything right, if we click this, right, it should pop it into here and then also show up in his hand. So we'll click it, and there we go, right? It shows up in his hand. Fantastic. So we can unclick it and it will remove it as well. So the swapping should also work. So if we have 2 items in the same slot, it should replace it, and it looks like it does. So that's awesome. We've got our equipment system working for all intents and purposes. We have also these other items that we can pick up. Okay, we've got like the wooden buckler, steel breastplate, the helmet, right? Our long sword, and now look, we're like a real live action hero, right? We've got our RPG kind of coming together a little bit. So, and just ignore all those overlap lines, right? That's just those won't be visible in your game if you untick hidden in game, or if you tick hidden in game. So anyways, with that, I think we'll be done for now. In the next video, I guess we'll change up our inventory a little bit, just so we can add like a drop button or a use button, just so you'll be able to actually drop these, because right now there's no way to drop them. So we'll do that, and then we can also maybe look at changing up animation stuff in the future as well. So with that, thanks for watching, and I hope this has helped. And if you like the video, like or subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.